Smoothsphere, Viscose, easier. To train Smoothsphere Viscose easier, like most of the tracking scenarios, you want to break it down in several different steps. The first thing I would do is actually go into the menu and select a slower sensitivity. The Viscose Smoothsphere is in the arm category, so you are supposed to use your arm and your shoulder for aiming. For a big part of it. Of course, the wrist and the fingers will also do a little bit of it, but the slower your sensitivity, the more your arm plays a role. As you can see, I have placed it, set it to roughly 40 centimeters per 360, but slower sensitivities are also viable. Which one is perfect for you depends on your setup. I'm currently playing on a glass pad with a rather light mouse with a fingertip grip, so for me, this is already quite slow. But if you're more used to tech FPS, you can go even slower to like 50 or 60 centimeters. Then the second thing is, I suggest to try to train to have smooth motions left and right. So without much shaking up and down. So when you track the target to the left side, it should be just like one smooth motion with the arm, without many corrections up and down. So we would want something that goes up and down like this. But instead, focus just on having like no vertical correction on this movement. Actually, if I set it to challenge mode, I can actually reset with the mouse directly. So just go left side without vertical motion. And of course, you can also add at some point the right side without vertical motion. Just have a smooth left and right motion without much height variation. Second step is, when you have done it, is to adjust the speed to the target. Now the big difference between click timing and tracking is that in click timing you focus on the position of the target and you want to reach the position with your crosser as effectively as possible, while at tracking you want to copy the speed of the target. That is essential for our approach here. So I want to move my hand in a way that my crosser moves the same speed as the target, which means the target stays still on my screen. So even if I'm not on target, the target has like a fixed position on my screen. Right now we only focus on the lateral, like left, right. We try to match the speed of the target. And we focus on having the same speed. So we don't try to like copy the position of the target, but rather the speed of the target. And of course later you combine it to actually copy the speed onto the target. And you can do this by just repeating the scenario and just try to have the same speed without accelerating or deaccelerating, but choose one speed and just stick with it until the motion is done. Now a smooth spot usually accelerates and deaccelerates. There's not a constant speed, so you have to constantly adjust to the speed of the target. That way you will still fall off even if you have chosen speed, then of course you have to accelerate to match the speed of the target. This is step 3. Is to match the speed of the target. Don't worry too much if we are on target and we are very gentle in fixing our position. We do it very slow, very smoothly. We don't try too much in flicking over anything. We just focus on matching the speed of the target for the third step. Step number 4 would be to adjust when the target slows down. Now as you can see, it has not an abrupt animation, but it actually stops very gradually. And By tracking it smoothly, you allow your eyes and your brain to see that change in speed very easily. Well, easier than if you're erratic in movement. So if you move like this, you cannot understand when the target changes the speed, and then you also will not adjust timely. So to have a good reaction time on the speed change, you want to have a smooth aiming first, and then you can actually try to see when the target is slowing down. For each of the trainings, I suppose you do a full run or several full runs of the mode. So basically, when the target stops, you try to stop your mouse with the target. So you track and you stop with the target. You track, stop with the target. 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 And only after you have managed this motion, these 4 steps, I suggest that then you add to actually reacquire the target once you lost it. My first goal would be to like not lose the target in the first place. So the correction should be really only like a niche part of the scenario. Like it should not be like you consistently like lose the target, no track, lose the target, lose the target, slow, fast, lose the target, lose the target. No, it should not require constant reacquisition of the target, but rather you want to stay on the target for the entire duration. So the goal is to not lose it in the first place, and then you do not need to reacquire it. The reacquiring itself, therefore, is also not that important. So I suggest you do it in a smooth fashion, not in a like flicking motion, but like more or less, don't change the tension in your hand, and try to reacquire the target in a smooth way. Now, every time the target changes direction, you choose the direction to track with it, and that again focuses on copying the speed of the target. And so in the end, the scenario should look something like this, with just a slow, smooth and controlled motions only. We really try to focus on having 0 excessive movement. So every move you do shall be just exactly the move you need. Now with this 4 steps, I have reached Mammoth on this scenario. And it's of course from the Viscose easier benchmark. And to go from Mammoth to Orca, I have used a different tool. I have used the approach from Corporate Surf. It's a YouTuber. He makes great aim training content. And so what I have done is I have created variations of the scenario with variations in speed and size. So I have like 2 variations harder, so faster and smaller, and 2 variations easier, so slower and bigger. To do this, you download the scenario by clicking the aim down. You go to the local scenarios, find it again, Viscose, as can just Viscose, go to edit, click on yes to unpack everything, go to challenge, it means called Herausforderung, which will be challenge, and then just in the field where it says target speed and target size, you can just add your numbers. For example, target speed 1.2 and target size 0.8, like this, and then save as. And then I have just typed in the numbers as the name. And so like this, I have created the playlist for myself. And with this playlist, it looks something like... Where is it? I'm legally blind. It should be here. Smoothsphere goes easier, exactly. And you can see you have the scenarios with all the variations. And then you just rerun the scenarios with different sensitivities. So I start at sensitivity of 4, which translates to roughly 10 centimeters. And I do all 5 scenarios with a sense of 4, and you will get quite a bad score. So it looks something like this. Of course, this is then fingertip mostly. And your scores will be a lot worse, and it's a lot harder because this is a bot's now smaller, faster. And you have the sensitivity, which is weaker. But each run should get easier and easier because, of course, you're progressing from hardest to easiest, and also going from the fast sensitivity to a slow sensitivity. And the slow sensitivity is what you want in the end. Now, what this does is it trains some more muscle control for the areas where your arm lacks the muscle control, so to speak. And for me, this was a very natural way to improve on this scenario. So the way like this, you play all 5 scenarios, then you click on repeat, so you play all 5. Then you click on repeat, it starts at the first one again, Then you go to settings and reduce your sensitivity. For me, it was to 2.25, which is about 20 centimeters. And then I reduced to about 30 centimeters. And then I reduced to about like something more than 40. Yeah, actually 40 for me. Then and so on. Go to 50. For me, it's 54. And then 60 something, 72. And then you end at something between 80 and 90 at the end. Of course, you can just swap to centimeters and type in centimeters directly. For laziness, I keep my overall sensitivity on. And you do this every day, and you every day will improve at one of the or several of the different sensitivities and playlists, scenarios in the playlist, and this will gradually every day improve your performance in the scenario every time by a little bit. And this is the steps I've done to go from Memos to Orca. In this case. Please load. Kovaaks, please. Viscose benchmark, season 2 easier. I'm playing the season 2 benchmarks here. And when you click onto the icon on the top, you can see the levels. And yeah. So the first 4 steps I trained to reach Memos. And with each step, you should see increase in your performance. So first, of course, we had this shakiness up and down, reduce the vertical shaking, and that should be enough to reach like Lemming or Hare. Then you try to copy the speed, which will improve to like Hare and Ermin. And then you focus on the turnaround events, and so on. The 4 steps we have outlined earlier. You should reach Memos, and you could just repeat the scenario to go from Memos to Orca to Seal. But for me, it was faster to do the iterative approach with different sensitivities. Because also what you can see if you do this scenario more often is that if I go to the statistics of the scenario, I actually have to play it once more. Okay, let's play it once more. I don't know what sense I'm currently on, it doesn't really matter. We just have to play it till the end on the challenge mode. So again, as least shaking as possible, just stay on target, slow down gradually, and accelerate gradually, and try to copy the speed of the target. By the way, I'm constantly looking at the target, not at my crosshair in this scenario. And sound is also very useful, because you react faster to sound, so you know quicker when you are off target. I do not use anything of edge tracking or anything, I just stay on the center of the target in this case. This is because it's not abruptly stopping, but gradually, so I can... you could stay on target 100% of the time in theory, if you would be good enough in the game. It's mouse control. 7 seconds left. Okay. Didn't reach quite the score I needed. I think 13,750 is the score for Orca. But we reached it in between. And you see, like, these jumps. These are the jumps in my sensitivities. And this also shows you that you have weird in-between sensitivities between like wrist and arm aim, between fingertip and wrist aim, where you have like some flaws, where the speed is not ideal for your anatomy. And with this iterative approach, you train these weak spots quite easily. So this was basically the fastest one. So this is like 10 centimeters, 20, 30, and 40, and at 50 centimeters. I got this high score here. And this is probably the same, I guess. I'm not sure. Why it's so low there. And of course, you can also always check the leaderboard to check at which centimeters they play. And you see, this is a low sense scenario where you play a rather slow sensitivity, so you can use your arm more. So here, 48 centimeters here, 32 centimeters here, rather quick one. 43 centimeters here. 28, oh, 28 is interesting. 46 here. That's why you see like most of these players play at a rather low sensitivity. Hope this helps, and see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.